Hi, I'm Pete.
And I'm Kaz, and together we are Crafty Caravanners.
Welcome to this month's collaboration video. Today we are going to be discussing advice to newcomers into caravanning. This video is part of a collaboration, so we'd encourage you to watch the other videos in this month's playlist. And now that can be done by waiting till the very end of the video and clicking on an end card, which is going to be over here somewhere, or you can look at the links in the description below. We're going to waffle on a bit today because it wasn't so long ago that ourselves were newbies. So hopefully we remember some of those experiences, and it's just a case of, we made some mistakes. We hope you don't as well.
I think the first thing that I think most people in this collaboration will say, and if they do, then it's a good pointer that shows you really need to consider this, and that is layout, layout, layout. The layout of your caravan. Think carefully about how you're going to use your caravan. Is it just two grown-ups? Is it grown-ups that sometimes take away grandchildren? Is it a family? If it's a family, how many of you are in the family? Where are you going to sleep?
Where are you going to sit?
Yeah. Just go to a local dealer and go into all the different types of caravans that you can. Go into as many as you can. Don't be afraid of lying on the beds. Most of them have polythene over the bed, so they expect you to lie on it. And really just sit there and think, right, can I imagine us in this space? Considering your pets, your children, and what you're going to do. Are you just going to be going away for weekends? Do you plan on going away for 1 or 2 weeks at a time? Are you thinking of going abroad? It's just think about how you want to use your caravan and think about how you're going to use the space. And we definitely would suggest buying a second-hand caravan first in the layout that you think you have decided suits you best. You may only keep it for a year, but it'll give you the opportunity of trying it out, seeing if it works for you, rather than spending a big bundle of cash only to find that it wasn't quite the right layout for you. And in this current climate, you'll be able to get the money back on your caravan. Yeah,
sure, you may find that the caravanning hobby is not for you altogether. But we would suggest the first trip away is probably going to be one of the worst ones that you will do, because anything that can go wrong probably will. Some disasters are more minor than others, and we wish everybody only to have minor disasters, of course. But your first trip, it's probably not going to be the best.
And you're going to be nervous. Yeah. You're not probably going to know or have remembered everything that maybe the caravan dealer told you when they sold you your caravan. But remember, the caravanning community is really helpful and friendly. So if you turn up on site and you can't get your gas to work, literally just go and knock on someone else's door, and I guarantee that they will be more than happy to assist you. You're not alone.
It's also good to have a checklist.
It is, yes. Do a checklist that you think you're going to need for your first trip, and each subsequent trip you will find more things to add, and you will find something.
Yeah. Think of it as a living document. You're not going to get it right the first time. Nobody does. Add from it, take away from it, modify it. Do what you like with it. It's your list. It
can be quite stressful, packing everything into the caravan, getting your pets, your children in, and just those last minute checks that you're doing before you're setting off. It's quite easy to forget something. So If you've got a list to just look down, then hopefully you're not going to miss anything important.
Be aware of what your animals are going to do and how you can restrain them when you're setting up. It's not easy to go and do that setup unless you've done it millions of times. But anyway, having a dog running wild and pulling you around like that is not ideal.
No. Yeah. So again, just think, what are you going to do with your children? Are you going to send them off to the local park that's on your campsite? Are you going to ask them to sit in the car?
Send them off to the dog run? Are we talking about children?
Children.
Okay. Oh well, I'm sure they'll like it there anyway. It wasn't so long ago that if you wanted to tow a slightly heavier caravan, you had to go and take a BE license test. I believe you don't have to do that anymore. It doesn't stop the laws of physics applying, however. So make sure that your car is suitable to tow the size caravan that you want to.
So once you've checked that your vehicle is capable of towing your caravan of choice, you still have to remember weight limits. Now, when you first get a caravan, it's very easy to go out and buy every single accessory under the sun. Not only will it cost you a fortune, it is going to cost you on your payload. Don't go rushing out, just get your bare essentials. If there's 2 of you, you only need 2 of everything. 2 cups, 2 plates, 2 knives and forks. You don't have a massive...
And 1 sink.
Yeah, your sink isn't going to be very big, and you just don't have the space to pile up pots and pans and have the luxury of going through another clean set of cutlery and plates. So just keep it to number of people is the number of cutlery and accessories. Also, remember the good old motto, buy cheap, buy twice. Now, whilst you do have a payload to consider, when it comes to things like outdoor chairs, it's just worth paying that little bit extra. Otherwise, you know, you're going to find yourself maybe not even getting through a whole season with a cheap foldable chair.
Before you find yourself folded up into the mechanism of a chair with your bum on the grass and your feet
beer in
pointing
the air.
sideways.
Yeah, so just consider, you know, how much you're going to spend. Cheap isn't always necessarily a bargain. Awnings, sun canopies, porches. Again, before you go rushing out and committing quite a large sum of money to one of these accessories, remember again how you're going to be using your caravan. If you're going away for just a weekend, and the majority of your trips are just a weekend, you don't want to be spending 2 hours fighting to put up a full-size awning. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's just not worth it. Yes, you could put up a porch awning if you think the weather's going to be bad, or if you particularly have a lot of shoes and coats that you want to keep out of the caravan. That won't take you so long to set up.
One of the best purchases we made was to get a sun canopy. It's the one we use most of the time. We typically go away for a couple of days, and this one gets used. It only takes probably 15 minutes to put up. It's inflatable. I've lubed up all the awning channels with the proper silicone grease, so it really goes in quite smoothly. Grab all your step, put it in, pump it up, and there are four guy ropes to put down. That's it.
So don't do what we did. We went out and bought a really expensive brand new full awning. We bought a porch awning, and then we decided that actually a sun canopy looked the best thing for us, and it is, as Pete has just said, the most popular out of the items that we use. Yeah, so like we say, don't rush out and buy everything. You won't necessarily need it all.
Let's talk about weight saving. You know, you often see these little melamine cups and saucers and everything like that. They are great. They will save you, a kilogram here and there. And
if you have children, they bounce well. The plates, not the children.
The children also bounce well.
Plan your meals. Plan what you're going to have. It will save you money. It will save you time. Think about where you want to cook. Do you want to cook inside your caravan? Do you want to cook in the awning? Do you want to cook in the outdoors? We have a Cadillac barbecue, which obviously you have to use in the open. We also have a teppanyaki, which we can use indoors, in the awning or outdoors. And I would also consider taking, depends what you've got, but like a Ninja Foodie, an air fryer, a one pot crock thing that you can just chuck things in, leave it cooking all day, and then you come back and you've got like a spaghetti bolognese or a curry ready for you.
Yeah, planning generally is a good thing. The more you plan, the more you're going to enjoy your time when you don't have to plan anymore, which is when you're on your holidays. Before
you set off on your journey, always remember to carry out your pre-caravan checks. And by those, I mean doing your wheel torque, your tyre pressures. Yep. You're probably best to talk about this because This is your little job. Well,
so, tyre pressures reminds me of another pain point we had. Last year and the year before, we had a cheap air compressor. It was actually quite good, if a little slow and noisy. That also failed the bounce test.
Honestly, butterfingers. And then of course you've got your light checks on your actual caravan once you're hooked up to your towing vehicle. I think this is something that a lot of people just think they don't need to do.
LED lights and so they don't have a brake.
Yeah,
but wires do.
You need to do it, you know. If you don't check it, you could be towing illegally, you know, having lights out. And towing is stressful enough on its own without them wondering why traffic is honking at you or you're being pulled over by a police car. Lights are put there for a reason, therefore check them. We check them every time we go, and we have a little routine. Pete gets into the cab and does all the flicking of the switches, and I check the lights. And to make this easier, because Pete can't necessarily hear me from the van,
we've come up with a cunning plan. We've got a pair of these, which are PMR 446 handheld radios. You don't need a license to operate one of these things. You don't have to learn any fancy radio lingo to use them. You just pick them up and use them.
It's also handy if you're finding yourself in a tight spot, and you can talk the driver through the tight spot, but also for people that have got children that don't have mobile phones, I think this is a brilliant idea. I saw someone do this on one of our trips away. Yep. Mr. Rob Forrest, Mr. Sausage. He kept one sat at the caravan, and he gave one to one of his daughters, and they went off to the campsite play area, but they were always able to get in touch with each other. So if Rob wanted to check where the girls were and how they were, then he'd just call them up on the radio, and he had the knowledge of knowing that the girls could contact him anytime they wanted to, because they had their own radio as well. Deal. So we didn't just buy, you know, they're not just for testing the lights and things like that. They have got a couple of useful uses. So just a quick recap, basically it's layout, layout, layout. Don't spend a fortune buying a brand new caravan. Try before you buy if you can.
Have a checklist and try and stick to it as best as you can as well.
One thing that we have missed, on your first trip out, once you've bought all your accessories and everything, take yourself to a local weighbridge. You will be surprised how much these little bits and bobs add up. And if you're out towing and you get pulled over and you're asked to go onto a weighbridge and you're over, there's going to be a fine. Yep.
So there's our advice to newcomers to the caravanning hobby.
Definitely check out other people on YouTube. If you've got a question about something, just Google it and then look at YouTube videos. Most people have done a video on something that you'll be wondering about.
Thank you for watching our video this month. Let me remind you again that this video is part of a collaboration. Look out for the end card at the very end of the video over here. Check out the links in the description below.
So that's it for this month. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.